everybody wishes that they were the one in charge of balancing their favorite game.
Thank you, Rare. Thank you, Rare. You all fucking suck. I hope your game, like, I hope that's the last straw for your game right there. I hope your game is done. I hope it dies. Your decision-making is...
Everyone, from competitors to content creators to filthy fucking casuals, wishes that they could complain to their heart's content and have a developer at their beck and call. Fix the game! The thing is, nobody's stupid enough to think the developer will actually listen. Well, almost nobody. Meet Bikini Body, a Swedish Siege streamer who recently became one of the only non-professional players ever to take on a balance team and win. He woke up one day, decided that he wanted something to be in the game that wasn't, and mounted a full-blown revolution over it. But guess what? It actually worked. So first things first, who is Bikini Body? Well, like I said, he's one of Siege's most beloved content creators. Just not for the reasons you might think. He isn't some ballistic, ground-knifing aim god with an apparently unpronounceable name and a penchant for the F2.
Dead.
He's a theory crafter. Well, I mean, kind of.
Hey, somebody's planting.
On it.
How do people fall for this shit still?
Bikini is known for his unironic love of Tachanka, Clash, and strategies that literally involve pretending to be dead. For years, he's been amassing a cultish following around his wacky strats, whimsical antics,
You are off the dot. Okay, we die together. Smile!
and his all-around dank approach to content creation. But here's the thing, Bikini isn't a griefer. He isn't toxic or out to ruin people's games. On the contrary, he's trying to improve them by taking things that are overlooked, underused, underappreciated, and doing something extraordinary with them.
Oh, there's 3 people in our raid.
Wait a minute.
Even before I started YouTube, I was like, I really like taking a piece of coal and turning it into a diamond. You know, in Siege, obviously, people know me for, you know, mastering Tachanka, Clash, Amaru, Warden. It's a really cool thing of finding something that people don't necessarily think is a good thing and just, you know, look at this shit. I can do this.
Now, you might be tempted to think that Bikini doesn't take his game of choice very seriously, but nothing could be further from the truth. And over the years, he's become one of the loudest voices in the Siege community, especially when it comes to discussing the game's design philosophy.
I still personally think that we should balance, you know, for the top level of play, but I also think that it is still important to respect the casual player base so that there isn't anything that's just, you know, blatantly mowing them down. Like, sure, you can just tell them to get good, but it doesn't really work.
The flip side of Bikini's love for all things fringe is a general dislike for anything that is considered top tier. If something is too strong, Bikini wants it fixed. The most infamous example of this was Ashe. Now, if you've watched our OverExplained on the ACOG, you know that it's the crown jewel of Siege's weapon attachments. It's the single most important sight in the game, and the entire balance of attackers and defenders is tied to it. But in March 2019, Ubisoft made the controversial decision to remove the ACOG from Ashe's R4C assault rifle. And while this change did eventually garner its fair share of supporters, the earliest and most vocal of them was Bikini.
In my opinion, like, Siege is a hero shooter, basically, right? And when you have one of the heroes essentially being picked 90+% of the time, you kind of have an issue. So yeah, I wanted them to do something. I didn't necessarily want them to make her worse, but I wanted players to pick her less.
Now, at the time, this was a big deal. It's one thing for Ubisoft to heed the advice of a pro player, but a loudmouthed, lollygagging content creator playing in a slightly above average skill bracket, that was something else entirely.
People are going to dislike you when you're not in this like competitive sphere, but I don't really care. I love Siege at the end of the day, and I'm gonna try to make Siege the most enjoyable game it can possibly be, both to play myself, to watch. I mean, at the end of the day, games are about having fun, and I am obviously not gonna ask for them to do something that's game-breaking. Absolutely not.
But Bikini didn't stop there. To really ruffle some feathers, he'd have to do something else. Something that no one, not even Ubisoft, had ever dared to do. Equip an existing operator with an ACOG that they didn't have before.
LMG, mounted and loaded!
No, not the Lord. Now, Bikini didn't want to do anything that would ruin the game's casual or competitive scene, so he settled on Siege's ultimate meme cannon, the Boss G.
Why?
Introduced in late 2017 alongside Vigil and Dokkaebi, the Boss G is a double-barrel shotgun. It has absurd recoil and can only fire 2 shots before needing to be reloaded. But here's the thing, it's a slug shotgun, meaning that it boasts crazy range and requires pinpoint accuracy in order to be effective. Weirdly enough, it actually requires a ton of skill to use.
And you can do stuff like that.
The only time the Boss G saw even a glimmer of pro play was when one of the machine pistols that supplements it was significantly stronger. And even then, people pretty much just chose the loadout for the pistol.
It's a single bullet to take Shatate down.
Simply put, the Boss G is a veritable meme machine. Something you pick when you're just looking to have fun, or issue forth the dankest of good nights.
Oh!
So, naturally, the Boss G was right up Bikini's alley.
Sort of after the Showdown event, that kind of sparked it, because the Showdown event had us all using Boss G, and we were like, this is so bad that we'd rather just use the revolver. So after that, we really started the Boss G should have an ACOG.
And by fall of 2019, Bikini had gotten pretty serious about making it happen.
Hello, everybody. Over this past week, I've been pushing for Ubisoft to add an ACOG to the Boss G.
Naturally, there were those who resisted, claiming that it was either idiotic, imbalanced, or both. But as far as Bikini was concerned, it could only serve to enrich Siege, not hinder it.
The Boss G ACOG was just an opening to do something fun that didn't contest pro player territory. And Vigil is, at least on our level of play, a very boring operator. Barely anyone drones. But by making it so they actually has this fun, high-skill weapon, it becomes a lot more fun to use.
Over the next few months, Bikini's cutesy suggestions snowballed into a community-wide meme that virtually everyone was chiming in on.
You know what I think Vigil needs? Vigil needs an ACOG.
We're gonna back up Bikini Body, and we're gonna start this rant. It has to happen.
I'm down for it, dude. Boss G ACOG, give it to me fucking now.
If you ask me, Vigil will be played more if the Boss G had an ACOG, so let's make that happen.
From there, it blossomed into a full-blown social media campaign. We're talking custom t-shirts, Twitch emotes, and even a black ice bullet-shaped ballpoint pen branded with an ACOG'd Boss G.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Anyway, with Ubisoft acknowledging Bikini's effort, but refusing to budge, he didn't just persist, he started a revolution. For starters, he hired a slew of internet personalities to help propagandize his message.
Hello Ubisoft, I've conducted research on behalf of Bikini for you, and I've concluded that you should add AKOG on Boss G.
Some of you are engaging in activities like hating on Boss G. I'm gonna need you to take a seat and rethink that, because I don't think it's very wise. And there's something else you need to know. Bikini doesn't like it either.
He even got the porn star Johnny Sins on board, because apparently he bears a passing resemblance to Blitz's elite skin.
Hey Ubisoft, Blitz here. Me and Bikini would just really like it if you guys added ACOG and Boss G. Thank you very much.
I wouldn't want that guy to flash rush me. Get it? And then after planting 1,000 trees in honor of his plight, he named a fucking star #BossGACOG. Look, here, it's about halfway up the ass of the Leo constellation. Then in November, it finally happened. That's right, Ubisoft caved, giving the legions of Boss G enthusiasts their much coveted scope. And let's just say, it is as beautifully awful as everyone had hoped.
Show yourself! One sandwich window. Oh.
I have 3 of my discs out.
I got her! I got.
This is so stupid.
What the fuck? Oh, instant rage quit!
Bikini's successful efforts even led to parallels being drawn between him and a certain equilibrium-obsessed Marvel character.
I said like, hey, I got one ACOG removed. I have to add one. I need to restore balance. And then I remember on the day it happened, one of my artist friends made my logo into Thanos. It's such a fun thing. And it was also kind of like, hey, while everyone's mad, I can just be completely spiteful on my timeline by calling myself ACOG Thanos, just to piss them off a little bit more.
I'm not even gonna say it, but you know I'm upset.
Even though Ubisoft spent months engaged in a meme war over whether they'd put the Boss G ACOG into the game, the reality is they were happy to do it. But why? In addition to offering Ubi a chance to give back to the community, it allowed the developer to take some pressure off themselves. ACOG debates have gotten a little too high stakes for their own good, and we're all better off for being able to meme on it. And who knows, maybe it'll inspire people to rethink the way they ask for changes, or at the very least, the way they talk to devs. What Bikini achieved is kind of unprecedented, and fans across all esports could learn from it.
We have absolutely fantastic community developers for Siege that truly go down on a ground level and talk to everyone. Like, people really have to change the way they approach asking for changes. And that is something that a lot of pro players I feel like miss. It's always like, oh yeah, this map is garbage, but they never say why. So how are Ubisoft supposed to take that constructive?
At the end of the day, Boss G ACOG isn't just a meme, it's a movement. An unremittingly dank reminder of the fans that made Siege into what it is today. And it's a shining example of what community developer relations could and should look like. Man, all we have to do now is get Ubisoft to slap an ACOG on something even dumber. Like Monty's shield, or default cams. Dude, drones.
Yeah, that'd be great, but how would we do it?
Easy. All we need is a porn star. Or someone that looks like one anyway.
Hey Ubisoft, Warden here. Dimitri and I would really like it if you could add ACOGs to attack drones. Thank you very much. Okay, Miles, what the fuck does that even mean?
But here's the thing. Bikini. Hello everybody. Something you pick when you're just looking to have fun, or issue forth the dankest of good nights. The dankest. Good nights.